What's up, everybody? Greg here once again. And this week, I want to give all of you a funnel building superpower. The superpower I want to give you is the ability to connect almost any integration to ClickFunnels 2.0. I've talked to lots of people that are users of ClickFunnels Classic or other platforms, and almost all of them, the one big thing that is preventing them from making the switch to ClickFunnels 2.0 is not being able to connect to certain tools or softwares that they're using to run their business. And trust me, I've worked with tons of clients. Almost all of them have a different stack of softwares that they use to run their business online. They almost always need to send like a buyer or a lead over to another platform. So at the time of this recording, there are some direct integrations with ClickFunnels 2.0. If you go to your settings in your account and then to integrations, click on connect integration, you'll see what's currently available. Not a huge list right now, but it seems like every week they're adding more. So always check there first before you start doing something like this. If you have a client that need to connect to something, check here first. If it's in here, use it here. It's easier. But if it's not on here, that doesn't mean you can't help them out. So we're going to use something called Webhooks and a platform called Zapier.com to take a lead from ClickFunnels and send them over to a second software, to an integration. The example I'm going to use is a Google Sheet. I have a little application funnel that I've built. I'm going to say when someone fills in this application funnel to work with me, send all that information into a Google Sheet. Then I have all the leads in one spot. If I have a team that's following up with them for me, I can just share this sheet with them instead of giving them access to my ClickFunnels account. It just makes it way easier. But just remember, I'm sending it to a Google Sheet. There is an insane amount of integrations you can connect to Zapier that you could send the data to there, right? So maybe you have like a third-party email autoresponder or a CRM. See if that connects to Zapier.com and you'll be set. And we'll talk about Zapier a little bit more here in just a second. But first, let's start the ClickFunnels side of things. We need to use this thing called a webhook. So in your settings as well, at the very bottom, you'll find webhooks. This is something that intimidates a lot of people, especially even myself. When I first started messing around with this, I was like, it sounds confusing and I don't get it. And to be honest, I still don't understand it 100%. I don't need to. We just need to know what works and use that. So all we do is go to webhooks here, click on add new endpoint. We're going to give our webhook name. I'm going to call mine the, application leads to spreadsheet webhook. Okay. We need a URL. We'll talk about that in a second. And we need an event type. So whenever someone fills in my application form, they are completing a form. There's all kinds of ways we could trigger this. You'll see there's tons of them in here. Like whenever someone completes an order, if I want to send data over, like if I have new buyers, I need to send that info over to like a shipping integration. That's what I talked about in my last video. We could do that. I still like to use though, form submission created. By using this, I can say whenever someone completes an opt-in or someone completes an order form, either one, they're submitting a form, send that data over to Zapier and then send it to whatever integration I need to send it to. But to do this, I need this thing called a post URL or a catch URL. Okay. I need a webhook URL to send the data to. Zapier.com is what's going to allow us to create that URL. Okay. So Zapier is this awesome software. It allows you to make software send data to each other. At the time of this recording, there's no direct integration for Zapier and ClickFunnels 2.0. There's Classic, but we don't even need that since it connects to 2.0 directly. But if you go to the feature request board for ClickFunnels 2.0, it is in progress. So it sounds like there is one coming. And when that comes out, I'll shoot a new video because it's way easier when there's a direct integration than it is to use webhooks like this. But I want to show you. Now, to do what I'm about to do, you do need a paid plan on Zapier.com. But that throws people off sometimes, but think about it, right? If you're someone who builds funnels for people, especially right now, there's probably a lot of clients that don't even know this can happen. Like it's the number one thing I hear people saying, like, I want to start 2.0, but they don't connect to this. Well, if whatever they're trying to connect to connects to Zapier, you'd be like, hey, actually, I know how to do that. And trust me, I have blown some really big really big name people's minds by setting this up. Okay. So we're in here, we create a Zap. you'll see right on the right here, premium webhook. That's why we need to be on the paid plan. I think the cheapest one is like 20 something dollars a month. You can do the annual plan, include that in the invoice for your first client that wants this. Boom, it's covered. You can use it for other clients as well. It's so easy to work around $20 a month. Okay, so we're going to use this thing called a webhook. Click on it and we're going to choose an event. The event is going to be catch hook, and hit continue and pick off child key. Leave this blank. And then it gives us the URL that we want. Don't worry about what all that means and everything. Like, don't even focus on that. Just do what I'm doing. Okay. Copy this URL. Go back into ClickFunnels and paste that into your endpoint. Okay. So we're creating the endpoint. So now what we just created, right? Anytime someone submits a form on any of the funnels in my account, it's going to send the data, right? So it creates a contact. It's going to send that data over to Zapier. Now you'll see in Zapier, it's asking me to test this. The only way I can test this right now is if I actually fill in a form. So don't hit test yet. Go to one of your funnels, any funnel, and opt in on your own funnel. So I'm going to do it on this one. Now, this application form I have right here, I actually have custom fields. What type of service are you interested in? I'm using inputs with the input type set to custom, and I've given them a name. So like this one's called service because it's asking what service are you interested. This one's asking for details. So I have this one named details. And this one here is asking for, your follow-up contact preference. So I put follow-up here in the custom type. Okay. So what we need to do is preview this and fill this in. All right. All right, so here's my basic answers to this application form. We submit the application, it's been received. So that just created a contact inside of ClickFunnels, but a form was submitted. So that should mean that data should hit this URL. So we hit test trigger. Look, request was found. Look, if we look in here, there's the email I used, there's the phone number I put, the details I put, action. It's all in here. Okay. So we hit continue. Then we can trigger what we want to happen. Now we could right from here say, I want to send that data into this Google Sheet. But remember, right now, the way this is set up, is any form in any of my funnels is going to trigger this. I want to say, not, I have other funnels. I don't necessarily want to send all the data from the other funnels onto my lead list, right? That's going to be confusing for anyone who's working off that sheet. So you could do it with just a path if you want to do just one, but we're going to do, a filter if you wanted to do just one, or you could do multiple filters, but I like to do it this, paths. So I'm going to say, if the ID of the funnel is my application funnel, send them down path A, right? And trigger the sheet. But let's say the ID of the funnel is one of my other funnels, or the ID of the page is the order form page or the opt-in page on one of my other funnels. I'm going to say in that case, trigger these other things, because someone who buys, I'm going to trigger different things. Someone who buys from a different funnel might trigger different things. So by using paths, each path acts as its own filter, and it allows us to say, okay, instead of triggering this for every single form that gets created, we're triggering it just for the ones that we want. So I'll show you here. We're going to say only continue if, and let's go to show all options. We should be able to find the page ID. And, okay, this is right here. Sorry, data attribute page ID. So the only thing on that page that we filled in is this ID, right? So we use that. And condition is going to be exactly matches. And it's going to be the number that was on there, right? So we used page ID. It's 3385616. 3385616. Make sure that matches up. Oh, you can even see it from here. So just make sure, where was it? Page ID, right? 338 5616. Yours is going to be different because it's unique to every page that gets created inside of ClickFunnels 2.0. Okay, then we hit continue. Okay. And then down here, we create the action. So what do we want to trigger? This is where you could search, right? If I search funnel here, there's all these different funnel softwares I could send that data over to. Every integration has its own actions that you can make them do. But we're going to do a sheet. So I'm going to search sheet, Google Sheet, nice and easy. We're going to choose the event. I'm going to add a spreadsheet row to a Google Sheet. Now, before I hit continue here, on my spreadsheet row, I need to set this up, right? What data am I collecting on this application form? So I have email, full name, phone number, service they're interested in, details, and follow up, right? So what we need to do is on here is we have to map out the columns. So I'm going to say every row that gets collected, those answers, what column do I want them to show up under? So we had full name. That's going to be one. We had email. We had phone. We had service. We had details. And we had the follow-up method. Okay, those were the questions I asked them. Need to have those on here. I also have a name for it. And the sheet down here is just called sheet 1. Okay, we're going to remember that. Okay, so this is set to create a spreadsheet row. We hit continue. And that's asking us to choose an account. Mine's already connected, but if it wasn't, you literally just have to be logged into your account. At the very bottom here, you see connect a new account. You click on that. As long as you're logged in, it lets you log in and then it's connected. Mine's already here. I'm just going to choose it and hit continue. Okay. Now it's going to say, okay, what drive is the sheet you're looking to add the data to? Mine is a Google Drive. What is the spreadsheet called? It's where we find the name, right? Mine's called application leads. There it is. And what is the worksheet? Mine was just worksheet 1. Easy. Okay. Then it pulls through. Look, it pulls through all the columns that I created on the spreadsheet, pulls them through for me. So all I do is now is kind of map these out. I'm going to say, okay, whenever someone gives me their full name, where does it get full name from? Well, it gets it from the webhook and from this piece of data right here. So in our sample that we tested, it was Gregory Dakins. When someone else fills it in, it's going to be whatever name they put in. Okay. Email, we find from the catch hook, the field with my email in it. There it is. Phone number, same idea. We find the field that has my phone number in it right here. And then description, hook, show all options. Where was description? Oh, service. Oh, here it is. Details. There we go. There's the description. And actually, it didn't pull through all of them for me right now, so I'd probably hit refresh. It's still waiting for the rest of them to come through. So just, I had service and other ones in there as well, right? Let's hit refresh. There we go. Details and follow-up. Sorry, those were the ones I was missing. So now we have details. Actually, I messed that up. Details was, I want you to do it all. Service was like, what do you want me to do? What type of job? So that was on here. Service, follow-up. Follow-up. There we go. So now it's all mapped out. If we hit continue, we can actually test this action. So it's going to test. It's going to take the data that came in through the webhook and shoot it into my spreadsheet. So if I go to my spreadsheet right now, look, it's all in here. How cool is that? So that's actually done. We can actually close this. We can actually close this. And look, path A is all set. Path B, I could do the same thing, but for a different funnel and trigger different things for that funnel. So that's why I like to set up the paths below the webhook. But for right now, since we don't have a second one, we're just going to delete path B for right now so that we don't get this warning. There we go. Now, up in the top left, you can name your Zap. I'm going to call mine Applications to Spreadsheet. And I'm going to hit publish. Boom. Now this is live. Now, anytime someone fills in an application form on my application funnel, it's going to send that data to the spreadsheet. So let's do it one more time. There we go. Okay. So we hit submit application. That goes through. Now, if I go there right away, it might not be on the spreadsheet right away. It can take some time for that to actually process in the background. So we'll just hit pause here and see how long it takes for that to come through. And there we go. I was only paused for maybe 2 minutes and it all came through here on the next row, all the data. So anytime someone fills this in now it's going to populate here for me. So how else can we use this, right? If I had, say, an order form page, I want to get all their info over to maybe a shipping integration with the product info and everything. It's going to pull through all the purchase information when a product purchase goes through. It's going to have even more data than a lead like we just did. Boom. Send that to spreadsheets for a fulfillment center, send it to ShipStation. There are so many things that connect here, right? If we edit this and add a new, or sorry, let's not even add a new path. If we add another action to what we just set up, look, let's say ShipStation, boom, amazing shipping integration, right? Let's say, or look, just search ship. Look, maybe you don't even know what you want to use for shipping. Come in here. Okay, look at all these shipping softwares. I can start looking into these, find out which one works for me. Say I want to do a text message to this person. Right? Simple texting. Slick text. Oh, there's one that I like for texting. It's called sales message. Something like that. Yeah, sales message. That's a great one. Super cheap. Like pennies per text. Super easy to set up. Have back and forth text conversations on their platform. Tons of different things we could also trigger from this. Now, the way we did it, form submission created, right? It only triggers when any, right? When any form gets submitted. So that can be a little tricky if you have, say you have an order form with multiple products on it. Then what you could do is the filter, right, on your path, instead of it being by page ID, it would be by the product ID. The other thing that you can do is you can trigger these not just on any, like have it trigger on any funnel. You can also have the webhooks trigger from a workflow. So I'll show you that real quick before we end this. There we go. We can connect workflows to pages, right? Check this out. I add a new workflow here. Actually, I need to add a workflow to this page. I want to get notified every time I get a new lead. So I'm just going to, application lead workflow. This is going to trigger whenever someone opts in on this page. I'm going to add a notification for myself. That's just something I actually want to do on here. Oh, I'll have to set up. Oh, I just sent it to myself. There we go. And look, I'll even put a link to the spreadsheet from my notification. Oops, wrong tab. Boom. Email, create step. Boom. Okay. But look, I could also add a step in here for webhooks. I could say only trigger this webhook when someone hits this step in my workflow. And I could have a delay before this. I didn't want it to trigger right away. I wanted to, like, you know, most cases, for what we set up here, we would, but maybe in some cases you don't want it to trigger till like an hour later. Add a 1 hour delay in front of that. Boom, you're good to go. But I'm not actually going to use that on here since it's working with the filter inside of Zapier. But there you have it, everybody. Check it out. Experiment. Let me know in the comments below if you figure out some really cool integrations that you can use here with webhooks and ClickFunnels 2.0. Maybe you prefer another platform. Let us know in the comments if there's one that lets you do webhooks similar to this, but maybe it's a little bit cheaper than Zapier. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see in a future video. I have some plans for just 2.0 setup in general. There's just so many things we can do inside of ClickFunnels 2.0 now. I'm going to do some step-by-step tutorials for everyone. So hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me some comments, and I will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.